feels like we're a little tilted. I don't exactly know why either. I think not everyone agrees with how we want to play. Everyone wants to be open-minded. So it's like if someone tells you to do something that you're not normally doing, you might try it, but not be like fully on board with it mentally. And then if things go wrong due to like, you know, it's something new, there's going to be hurdles, then it can just feel really tilting because it's like, why am I listening to this kind of thing? It's not even working. I don't think that idea is good. We shouldn't do it. And so then everyone kind of like, in an effort to bring everyone closer together, sometimes it can actually push us apart.
Hello and welcome back for Game 2 where 100 Thieves look to take on Echo Fox and knock them down a peg. We're going to jump right into the roster rundown. On the blue side, it is Echo Fox. That is Hooney in the top lane, Dardoch in the jungle, Phoenix in mid, bot lane, all tapped with his support, Adrian and Coach and Nero.
And selecting red side today, it is the 100 Thieves in the top lane someday. In the jungle, Meteos, mid lane Ryu, bot and support going to be Cody, Sun, and Afro Move with Coach Brawley.
It is true, and over the last couple of weeks, 100 Thieves have slipped from first to fourth after a 3-game losing streak. And we kind of hear Meteos there talking about some of the trials and the tribulations that these guys are going through, trying to kind of filter communication to each other.
Yeah, it honestly sounds pretty rough, and hearing an interview like that makes you think that there's a lot of internal issues going on, right? And Echo Fox is already probably favored in this matchup. It makes you think maybe they are even more heavily favored. They just have to start picking up some wins, though, for 100 Thieves because you lose 3 in a row. There's such a small difference in the standings between 4th and 8th. It's 1 win right now. If you want to stay up in the upper echelon and be competing for a playoff spot, you've got to get wins.
And this would be a huge one to knock them down a peg, as we said before as well, whereas Echo Fox seemed to follow through with every aggressive call made. For better or worse, these guys kind of just keep piling it on.
Yeah, definitely so. They're always on the same page, and we always do see Dardoch leading the charge on Zach, which to me just says, ban the Zach. Like, he has been absolutely smashing, and yes, there's other champions he can play. He's not a one-trick, but force him to show you different things when he's been this successful on it. My big question for Echo Fox this week, though, is can they actually shore up their sloppiness in the mid-game? Because they've consistently gotten advantages, and then consistently in the mid-game, it feels like they get too comfortable. They start giving away kills. They take silly fights, and
teams get complacent. They think, oh, we're good enough to take this fight in maybe less numbers.
Certainly so, and that's something that you can't afford to do. You want to create really good practice habits and be working towards the playoffs and even beyond.
Well, we'll see if that can happen for Echo Fox. More so for 100 Thieves today, that communication Meteos talks about. It, you know, it sounds like they're saying, you know, somebody wants to do this or do this. But in the end, obviously, they all want to kind of have the same mind meld going into these plays. It's just very hard to do so when you don't see something working. It puts a filter on that play. And like you said, you ask, why should I do it? Hopefully, they can get to that point where they're all kind of on that same page and doing it.
Exactly. And sometimes it's a situation of too many chefs in the kitchen, right? You need someone to tell you what to do. You need everyone to have trust in that person, respect for that person, whether it is probably your coach, whether it is your in-game leader, maybe Afromu or Meteos himself, whoever it is. People have to have faith that what they are telling you will get you the win. When you lose that faith, when you lose that trust, and people stop following calls, people stop wanting to follow calls, that's when I think teams really start to fall apart internally.
Well, there are worse places to be than 4-4.
Certainly so.
In the LCS right now, and they might be able to hit Echo Fox for a 5-4 here. It'll be a very tough game, and they know it. So what do they focus? With a little bit of Hooney on the top side. Alltech will not get Kalista, and they look like they've taken a few hits in that mid lane and jungle.
I'm going to find out if they will actually take away the Zac here with their final ban, or if they're comfortable just leaving that up. Dardoch, as I said again, he plays a lot of champions. It's not like he is a Zac one-trick, but when the guy is 5-0 and has such incredible stats, it just makes sense to take it away, mix it up, make him show you something different, and they will ban away that Zac. It's going to leave up Zoe, which will be insta-lock there for Phoenix.
More Zoe. Drowsy all day, getting a lot of trouble bubbles.
And who he had a decent game on Zoe last game, but that is, I think, a good example of how sometimes you can't really find the effectiveness, right? Like, they're playing around vision so heavily that it was tough for Hui to ever actually surprise his opponents, and we'll see if 100 Thieves can emulate that and find their own success someday. Looking towards the Gnar, which is a very, very safe blind pick. But Huni is one of the guys who is so confident in playing any sort of aggressive counter matchup that it wouldn't surprise me to see. Well, that would be more hype, but it wouldn't surprise me to see the Camille.
For sure, absolutely.
Now I actually just want the Yasuo. Now I won't be satisfied with the Camille Riv. What have you done?
Expectations are being set. That'll be the 6th play here in the NALCS Spring 4 some days. Gnar, he will lock that in. Meteos, no Zac for him as they actually banned it away from the Dardoch. Used to be his king of the jungle. He'll go for Sejuani.
Taking with that Sejuani, the Tristana left open though. Such a strong, flexible AD carry, really can do it all. It makes a lot of sense, I think, to grab that up for Altec here. Certainly is a favorite of Cody's sons also, so being able to grab this in your second round of picks is going to be pretty nice. And now we kind of find out, do they look for jungle parity? It's going to be the Jax likely locked in here for Dardoch, which would be to match Sejuani in the jungle for Meteos, unless Huni really wants to throw us a curveball and put a top lane, but definitely not expecting that at all.
The top lane Warwick or something. Let's do it. Oh, haven't seen LeBlanc too often. A few plays here and there. It keeps Ryu safe in the mid lane, also allows him some power plays. And the more safe pick in Talia, where this team can cordon off an entire group and take them down. I think we'll be locking that in.
Plus, honestly, Talia makes it so it's very difficult for Zoe to actually really interact with the opposing champion, right? You have so much more wave push and wave clear than the opposing Zoe. If you shove him in under turret, he cannot do much besides just CS. He doesn't get as many opportunities to go aggressive and look for that poke on you, look to make other plays, and that's why Talia is so common in the meta. Incredible wave clear, incredible roaming, puts a lot of pressure out on the map nonstop.
Camille and Varus. You see a Narrow chatting with the team. Coach Prawley on your screen now. As they give the last tidbits of information here in phase 2 of the ban and pick phase. They take their time in these moments. You got the time, let it count down, you're good to go. No problem. Vladimir away from Huni, they will begin to target him, but Echo Fox says that's fine to give him something that may be late in the pick. We do not worry. Huni wants to see your entire team.
And Huni can play so many different types of champions that while it is effective to ban things out that are going to be good matchups, like the Camille, like the Vladimir, that makes sense because if you don't, he'll smash you. Sometimes he'll just smash you anyway because he can basically play everything, and that is
Lucian.
What makes it very terrifying. I don't think we're going to see Lucian in Nara, but I would love it, and I would respect it. But
hey, but I'm going to get your hopes up here. What do we got?
Oh, Jinx, I like this. A lot of AD carry bans in the second round, and one in the first for 100 Thieves, so pushed pretty far down the priority list, but Jinx coming out is going to be pretty powerful. And what I'm really interested to see is, will we see something like a Janna in NA now for Aframu? Because, yeah, you can go for things like Tahm Kench as well. We did see a couple Jannas today in EU, and I think it is something that's pretty undervalued in the current meta. Oh my god, we actually got the Yasuo from Huni!
Let's go!
Oh baby, let's go!
Don't doubt it!
Never doubt Huni in his counter picks here. Brings out the Yasuo. This is already so hype. We got the Jinx, we got the Yasuo. I mean, honestly, Janna makes even more sense now, though, with a Jax and a Yasuo really who want to jump in on top of this guy, but at the same time, Alistar having the CC, having the headbutt and the initiation can be very powerful. Morgana would be actually really surprising me. Wow. I'm actually very surprised by that. It is going to be strong against Zoe in the Sleepy Trouble Bubble and these sorts of things, and also for denying the Braum passive. But I'm not fully understanding the logic here. I mean, yes, you can deny some of the CC, but at the same time, it's like, great, you can deny a Counter-Strike, from stunning these Jinx, but at the same time, I just feel like Janna is more powerful against these champions because you can simply reject them, you can push them back out with the ultimate, with the Tornado, and that can be sometimes, that can sometimes be a lot more effective in keeping the Jinx safe, but perhaps actually looking for more laning power. The Morgana, someone who can be a little bit more aggressive perhaps in lane, and we'll have to find out how it pays off. Definitely was not expecting the Morgana pick at all.
It's interesting as well against Zoe because you have to be fast on your fingers. If you hit somebody after the bubble hits them with shields, you will not prevent them from falling asleep. They still fall asleep if you're late on the shield.
Now, I'm actually not sure because this is a new patch if that interaction stayed the same.
True.
Because you can now QSS Drowsy.
Seen that.
But I'm not sure if you can actually Black Shield delay on the Drowsy, because as you said in the previous patch, you couldn't QSS. If you QSS during Drowsy, you still got slept, and if you Black Shield during Drowsy, you still got slept. My assumption is that it does now block it with the new patch, because that seems to make sense logically if SS removes it.
That is true.
And that may be, you know, a big reason that he's taking it. But yeah, you can still block other things like the Braum CC, the counter-strike from Jackson, so on and so forth.
We will have to find out. We are in. Dardoch and Pobelter. How is there 2?
Dardochs?
2! This is impossible. No wonder he's so good in the jungle. Echo Fox versus 100 Thieves. We're on the Rift for game 2. We'll see if Echo Fox can increase that score. Or 100 Thieves put a stop to it here. Echo Fox looking for a 4-game win streak with this victory. And someday in team on 100 Thieves looking to stop a 3-game losing streak with a win here.
I'm actually so excited to see this matchup in the.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, you should
be excited.
You should be. I mean, this is Gnar against Yasuo. This is kind of the classic counter pick that we used to see a long time ago. It has not been brought out very often. We did actually see it, I believe, one at Worlds, if I'm remembering that correctly, quite a while ago. But definitely very exciting. Has the potential to be a very explosive matchup. We'll see how Huni actually wants to play it. He is taking press the attack here. Certainly has the ability to go pretty aggressive, but Someday is no slouch. Someday is one of the best top laners around, and despite the fact that Huni got his pick of the matchup, that's not going to be easy.
All quiet on the home front to start things off. Little line of scrimmage from both teams. A quick early ward there as they got in with Dark Binding to be aggressive a little early.
It's also going to be super interesting to see just where the pressure is actually put. You know, as Dardoch, you want to snowball Huni any time, but especially in a matchup like this, you're going to really want to be able to snowball that. But at the same time, letting a Jinx free farm on the bot side of the map, like, is that the right choice, right? Because Jinx becomes so incredibly powerful in the later stages of the game. If she can get to a couple items unimpeded, certainly there is a lot of potential for her to take over, but at the same time, maybe they have enough confidence that with Windwall and with their dive, you can still actually set that up and properly be able to pull that off. But this is not, this is not a team with a tremendous amount of setup for the Yasuo. There is the Braum ultimate, which can be a knock-up, and you can actually ult off of the Tristana ultimate too. There's like a brief window there, but mostly, you're not always going to have access. It's not like you're playing with an Alistar or something who's always going to be able to get the carry knocked up for you.
Few pings up for Meteos. He's saying eyes on me. I feel like he could have a little bit of trouble if he comes late. And they start to push in the bot side. A quick pressure from Altec on the lane. Obviously pushing for Tristana. Gets Cody Sun and from under the turret to start things off. No level 2 pressure for either side, and no potions blown early to start things. Minion dematerializers in the mid lane as they just keep pushing. We'll see a little bit more roam from Ryu here. He starts to get some early wards in. Oh, we might see it. Ring around the rosy.
Ryu, he did just see him on the map. He's not pinged out though, so I don't think they actually noticed. It looked like there was a brief glimpse, like a split second where he flew through their vision. But was not actually pinged out, so he's not aware that he's here. And that...
Oh, it was ships in the night, and now they go right for the fight. It's not going to be the kill. A few hits.
Oh,
Rousing land. Battlestar from distance. Phoenix isn't ready for it on cooldown.
Yeah, if he still had the Battlestar, might have been able to clean up that kill. Ryu gets out with just the cleanse. Does lose a fair bit of health there too, though. So certainly still a very nice gank for Dardoch, but it is not a kill, and it is not the flash. So definitely not the end of the world just yet.
Looks like Cody Sun and Afram were pretty happy keeping that farm just under the turret for bot. 22 to 21 in the mid lane, even with that bit of a scuffle from Dardoch. As now Meteos has a bit of an idea where Dardoch might be, but now he's disappeared back into the mist. Looks like he'll head towards bot side.
Will be spotted out by this ward, and they're pretty far back, so this gank should not really result in anything. Dardoch's just going to spend his time basing. Interesting to see if Cody Sun decides to zap him and stop that base, just to kind of waste his time. I feel like you should. Yes, you give up that your ward is there and you give that knowledge over, but I just think that wasting the jungler's time is worth it. And for now, Dardoch gonna head right back to the farm. And you can see he just went back, got an early Hunter's Potion, so he's gonna be able to sustain more heavily and kind of be able to, hopefully for him, keep up more in that farm, stay healthy in case of any ganks that he's gonna look for.
So for seeing this Yasuo Gnar lane for people that will eventually match up against it, what do you have to do as Yasuo? Do you have to go early? Is it kind of like a Riven, you got to go immediately? Or are you still going to be Yasuo if the lane goes even?
I mean, if the lane goes even, Yasuo has incredible scaling, so you know it's not a matchup where I feel like you have to go immediately or anything like that. It's more just about the fact that it's so hard for the Gnar to actually get away from the Yasuo because you can continuously dash through the minions and get right up on top of him. You can sometimes knock him out of his jump, which is limiting his escape tool and setting up all-ins. And when he is in that mini Gnar, he's very vulnerable to all-ins, and he's defended largely by the fact that he's a ranged champion. But since Yasuo can close that gap so easily and set up these all-ins, it can be really, really difficult for the Gnar to deal with.
See Someday always keeping a bit of distance, making sure he doesn't get dashed on in his current position. Keeps that wave nice and even playing the lane a little bit parallel right now just to make his escape route a little easier to get. Now being pushed in, Dardoch's going to walk through 2 wards here, but positioning is in favor of the Fox gang. Someday gets a quick hop. This should be just enough range for him to get out one, and no flash forward from Dardoch to get that stun in.
Yeah, Dardoch threatening the flash counter-strike after that leap strike. Even if you're not planning on going for it, it's a smart move to threaten because if Someday buys that bait, maybe he flashes out, right? And Dardoch just saw the ward die. He knows that Meteos could be up here on the top side, so he's actually going to move up and try to help him push it in so this lane can reset. Taxing the cannon for his time, though. Oh, classic jungler.
Ooh, it didn't reach, actually. So if Someday decides to stay, he may back as well to get a kind of simultaneous back in.
Yeah, it will bounce back eventually.
Oh, he comes back.
Huni is actually going to TP back up here, and will be able to crash the wave. He's going to lose a few minions, right? He lost 1 melee, may lose the second here as well. Yep, going to miss that second, but kind of to his own fault, to be honest. But either way, it's not the biggest of deals. He has a Vamp, a double Doran, so itemizing heavily towards some early laning power. Wouldn't be surprised to see Someday just go straight for Ninja Tabbies because they're so effective against champions like Yasuo who are purely physical damage and also extremely auto-attack based.
Few early wards here for Huni to keep the pressure on the turret. Has Someday pushed in 55 to 59 is, I like this, Ryu and Phoenix are continuously going back and forth in the mid lane. Now that they have their lost chapter and can get that mana regen, they have no problem spamming it out. Blue buffs will mean only more. I feel like we'll get a bit of an earlier first blood coming out of this game than we did last week.
Yeah, one of the big things here that's kind of looking like a discrepancy, look at all the blue wards on your mini-map, right? There's so much blue vision for Echo Fox all the way across the map. There's on the bottom side, on the top side, even around mid lane. There's almost no warding from 100 Thieves, right? They have no defensive vision. They have no aggressive vision. This makes it so much easier for Dardoch to actually be able to set up those ganks, right? They're just really winning that vision war very heavily, and now Meteos does have his Tracker's Knife, so he can look to kind of try to counteract a little bit of that. But if you don't know where the jungler is, even if he is not ganking, you're put at a disadvantage because you have to play oftentimes as if he were there.
The bot side wards placed in as well from Trinkets as Afro Mu and Cody Sun finally get off their turret, start delivering the same damage. Meteos found. Easily Arctic Assault over his situation there in his environment. Good paddle star from the right, and not doing too much damage just yet. Ryu should be able to fire back nicely with his blue buff on. Pressure now from Dardoch and Adrian to red buff. It doesn't look like they'll actually get any attention from Meteos, though. They do not need the help, and Adrian heads back down to the bot side.
It will be a 3-buff clear for Dardoch. Yeah. Steals away the red buff, goes to his own to defend that, and then we'll go and try to leash that blue over for Phoenix. But because of the fact there's not really any pressure on the bot side, Morgana and Jinx can win this lane. They can push in. They can be aggressive. You know, Cody Sun is up a little bit in farm. Yes, it's not some massive lead that's going to snowball just yet, but you're going to feel good anytime a Jinx is going to be having a comfortable laning phase like this because you want to get to that late stages. You want to get to your item breakpoints as fast as humanly possible where Jinx really can get so strong and even stronger than she used to be in the past with her new passive, which can uncap your attack speed. So when you have your Zerkers, when you have your double Zeal items and you get excited, the attack speed buff is pretty insane. On top of the move speed, it really can get very, very powerful.
Already, just about 10 CS up in that lane.
And a dragon, not bad.
And a dragon. Gonna feel good as they can keep themselves sustained and keep it farming up. Haven't seen too many roams from Aframu just yet. Still waiting. Won't get those until quests are finished. slows things down a little bit as the junglers are placing the wards here.
It definitely does, and it's also harder to roam out of the lane with the Jinx because the Jinx is so susceptible to dying to a gank or even in 2v1. You know, if you have an Ezreal, sure, go roam, do whatever you want. Tristana, okay, sure, a little bit more risky than Ezreal, but Jinx has no move block, has very little self-peel besides the chompers, which usually aren't that effective. So you have to kind of babysit this champion, and that is one of the costs of playing a champion like her. You can see the 100 Thieves has been battling back in the vision department, though, at least securing some vision in the bottom side river, as well as that one around the red buff. So they're doing a better job at kind of getting out on the map and covering some of their bases now that Meteos has his tracker's knife. So that is very good to see and is going to allow them to play with a little bit more confidence.
Just wondering as well how Aframu is kind of playing throughout his skill set. 2-1-2, and then he leveled his ult. So actually giving a little shield, a little dark binding, knowing there's a Zoe in the game, so the shield might need to be buffed a bit to deny that damage.
And that's a good point. And even for a lane, sometimes it makes sense to put an extra early point against someone like a Braum to just put it above the threshold of them ever being able to break it, right? You don't want them to be able to pop that black shield with an ultimate and then land their passive stun or vice versa. So having just a couple points against a low magic damage champion like the Braum can sometimes just effectively put it completely out of their reach.
Nice binding there as he puts another point actually in the shield. Now that he's going to go ahead and max that one out. Interesting to see in the early game. 11 minutes in, Dardoch warded out as those start to come through a little bit more here for 100 Thieves, but he denies it. Does he walk into danger? That's going to be a Glacial Prison coming down. Does Ryu have the follow-up? Starts throwing the volley out, doesn't get the knockback as Dardoch dodges just to the right side.
So Meteos was actually trying to interrupt the leap strike there with his Arctic Assault. Not quite able to find the timing, went a little bit early, but that was what he was looking for. That's why he led with the ultimate. He knows the leaf strike will be coming from Jax, but if he times his Arctic Assault, knocks Jax out of that, then he will at least get Dardoch's flash, and maybe even have the opportunity of flash follow for a kill. So that's what he's looking for, ends up just being a straight ult.
Hoping they have the upper hand and vision on the bot side. Huni with the flash, may find a little bit of pressure. Weaver's wall comes through and Huni gets locked up inside. What a nice job. Just enough the wall from Ryu comes through to help get that kill.
Yeah, great roam up from Ryu, and Someday playing the matchup very, very well. I talked about how you can all in during Mini-Gnar. Mega-Gnar is where you have to be very, very careful, and Huni was up in Someday's face with the Mega-Gnar popping. Someday forces out the flash, Ryu comes in, and they clean that up. Just really well done by 100 Thieves.
Honestly, Someday kind of had that almost dead to rights as well. Huni might be able to walk out, but still Mega-Gnar for the dive. And Someday, one of those guys we're here to watch this week. Playing great for 100 Thieves up top. Definitely need somebody to start carrying on this team in kind of a consistent way. They have that across the board, but nobody's been showing. Here, Ryu even getting hit up by Phoenix.
Yeah, he has been playing well, but sometimes just playing well is not enough for a player of this caliber, right? Like, when you get a Someday, you expect him to carry games, and Someday into full Mega-Gnar. Huni's trying to retreat, but he's very far up in the lane. I think it's a good flash on the wall up, honestly, but with Ryu on the timing of this, there's no real way out for Huni, and this is just really well done and kind of choreographed there from the 100 Thieves.
Starts to stack up some health on his Jarn's Fist. That would be quite nice. Looks like it is going to be that teleport already used in here for Huni, so we won't have that to get down to the bot side. Hit from Altec. Buster shot comes out, but the potion was chugged by Aframu. No burn coming through in any attacks.
Yeah, just barely enough to survive, but they are going to get pressured out. And again, this is where it gets scary for a Jinx, right? Can you actually afford to stay at the turret? And Aframu is looking to stay around so he can try to clear this wave out, but that is going to be tough to do. The turret is taking a lot of damage, and nice chompers.
Very nice crowd control there, forcing Adrian to take the shots. You see what happens, though, when they reach a turret. They can do quite a bit of damage with this team on Equifax.
And that's just how quickly a gank can swing in the lane, right? You know, the gank comes in there from Dardoch, who has put out more pressure so far than Meteos. He gets 3 summoners, and they get all the turret damage down. So that is a big deal.
Tabbies you were talking about earlier for Someday here finished up. He's able to stand a bit more toe-to-toe in that long range, really give Huni kind of what for in this moment.
And
Meteos
they could actually
waiting in the wings.
They could potentially set up a dive. And Huni knows this, and that is why he's like, oh, well, guess can't farm anymore. And he's going to back all the way off because Meteos is here, lying back behind him, waiting. As it's just the range minions, Huni can come up and start to clear this out, but it's a rush towards a Frozen Mallet for Someday and the Tabbies. He's just building pure HP. He knows if he doesn't get all in, if he doesn't get burst down, he can win this in team fights.
Quests for items, or I should say for vision items, quite completed. You can see how much that affects the bot lane with wards, but the vision in the top really hasn't been set up too much. Teleport coming in for Phoenix. They might be able to get someone drowsy on the gank as Dardoch is there kind of reading this one as well. Oop, quick hit, and a bang, bang, boom. Meteos walks away with about 38% HP.
And while that didn't look that crazy, Huni actually played that so well. It looked like he actually got the win well on the Glacial Prison, on the ultimate out of Sejuani. I believe he did actually win wall that and was just stunned up by the passive. So avoiding that ultimate keeps him alive for sure. And the fact that the TP support is there means he can stay alive. So really well handled in a difficult situation there for Huni, especially when you consider how much time was actually spent on the top side there by Meteos. That was a big investment. He waited for 2 full waves, waited for well over a minute on the top side of the map to try to make that gank happen, and they got just a TP out of a spellbook mid laner, which is not that long of a cooldown.
Coming off a worked ground here, a little bit of movement speed for Ryu. Can he get the shove? Phoenix just dodges, has quite a few minions to slalom through on the way back, and delivers his own damage on the way back out of the fight. Infinity Edge finished up for Alltech as he's still clearing. Cody Sun and the team want to get some mid pressure on turret. Get that gold.
This is just going to be their turret. I mean, I love this rotation on the back of all that poke that Phoenix just took. Oh, so nicely done. You chunk out the Zoe. Dardoch cannot wave clear this. 4-man walk mid. What do you do? It's your turret.
Absolutely nothing. Quite split up. Bot turret gets pushed down there as we saw before. Alltech with the damage, able to push the wave forward, and now they'll start to move those wards. Losing mid, however, allows Meteos to get into the jungle with the rest of the team if they want on the side of Echo Fox. We'll see how they recoup. Looks like with more vision.
Yeah.
Quite a day of vision.
Certainly. So lots of trackers around these days, and as you said, it does allow Meteos to get more involved. It also,
okay,
you may just be caught out here.
Gets him with the trees, concussive blows, hits, cleanse almost immediately, but he had the balk on his step. And that stutter step allowed the range close here from Alltech. Flashes were used, but the kill is secure.
Yeah, Ryu with a bit of a greedy base, not going back behind the turret. He's recalling on a ward, gets caught out, costs him both his summoners and his...
Oh my word, Meteos has been the target. Usually you see Zoe going for squishy targets. He's any target.
Yeah, I mean,
any target
that is
right
your
now.
tank. That is your tank right there. And it does not feel good when you're getting about 60-70% of your HP taken down from one of those sleepy bubble killers. Here's the play again. As you see, he is on a ward. Adrian not giving it away until Alltech is in range. Very intelligently played. Just pretends, oh, I don't see anything.
Ooh,
and
flash there.
Once you proc that explosive shot, you actually get your last shot to proc it with the auto. It resets your rocket jump. Whee! So there's so much mobility coming in there from Alltech that he can just chase down Ryu. And despite the fact that cleanse and flash were used, no getting away.
Escalated items here. Cody Sun not going back to buy just yet. Infinity Edge, Zeal, and some more attack speed in the hands of Alltech. They do not want to meet in a fight right now. Looks like we'll go and see what he actually has for himself. Stopwatch is still available to be used, as we're going to get a kind of switch on the map here. Baron's up, and Infernal Drake is next, but not enough time to draw the attention. It's time for Rift Herald.
This is actually pretty weird. So he actually sitting on the Kerchi's Shard, which is building in towards a Shiv or the Rapid Fire. He already had that completed.
Hurricane.
And then he goes towards the Hurricane, right? So something in this game has prompted him to go towards that or change his mind on the build. It could have just been autopilot because so many people build towards a static shift first these days in solo queue that he's just thinking, oh, I buy this, then I buy this. And then he realized, oh, this is actually a team that has 3 melee. I should probably have a Hurricane. That sounds pretty good.
Good point.
But either way, the Kerchi's Shard is not that powerful on its own, so you would have rather that's actually like a pickaxe or your crit cloak building towards the IE, so that will delay his build a little bit. It's probably not game deciding or anything, but it is something that's a bit more of a hiccup in his build.
Keep an eye on. Gets the Black Shield, he can kite it out. Maybe it's in his favor, but there are quite a few people that might need that Black Shield in any of these resulting fights.
Yeah, definitely the case, but sometimes it will matter for the initial 2-item power spec, right? If Alltech can actually complete his second item, force a fight right away. Cody-san is kind of 800 gold behind because of this component, and then you're just going to be straight up weaker. So we'll see if that comes into play at all.
Just a chance of crit, scaring Cody's range of Tristana at this point in the game. They get themselves into a pretty good position to now put a plethora of wards behind this Baron pit. See if they can do it. And it's just for clearing. So I'd like to see. They are going to get a little bit of vision on Baron, though, with Zoe being able to cut off Ryu. That might force a Weaver's Wall if they can activate here on the top lane.
So on the bot side of the map, you see Mooney is actually going towards Blade of the Rune King. So he has that completed. It is not the crit build. This is much more split push 1v1. This is not a team fight style at all. Dardoch just going to come up and drop the Rift Herald. That does not cancel it. It is
Okay,
just
yeah.
It is not a stun.
I was like, I don't see it next to him. Oh, it's over the wall. Okay, okay.
So they're going to knock down one turret, and their Rift Herald's at full health. So they're going to look to continue to push towards this next one. Meteos is here. I don't expect them to get the turret, but I do expect the charge to go off and a good chunk to come down.
Almost a double full Shelly. That feels nice. Bot lane pushed in by Someday as they take care of Rift Herald on the top side of the map. Haven't really bothered to move too much vision around, so 100 Thieves know they're kind of just waiting for Echo Fox to finish this aggression. Then they'll get back out. Starting to place the wards. Meteos is going back behind Baron now. See if this turret goes down. Hooney hasn't really been able to make an impact. These guys have kind of been on their own island, starting things off until we saw a bit of Meteos and Dardoch intervention.
Yeah, has been mostly just a farm fest. My guess on that Ruby Crystal is that it's going towards a Frozen Mallet. That is what I would assume. It could just be him saying, hey, I need a little bit of health right now, and he goes towards a PD or something like that. Generally these days when you do see top lane Yasuo, it is much more just the pure crit build. You know, you see PD, IE, these sorts of things.
I'll be in the lane killing whoever wants to be in the side.
Yeah, well, and the thing with those crit builds is it's strong. It can be strong in 1v1, but it's also when you join a team fight with 100% crit, you can burst down squishies.
Yeah.
With Blade of the Rune King, you do not have that doubled crit coming from your passive, so your team fighting is massively weaker. It's more about the straight up 1v1 with the active for the chase down, percent HP damage on Gnar, who's going to be building a ton of that. So it's much more committing straight to the 1v1. Ooh.
TP onto the chompers, but it's still going to be a resulting fight. Immune there. Looks like he'll get himself to safety, but still goes down. The slows will follow, even with the shield.
That could be Baron here for Echo Fox. They're likely just going to start it up. I mean, that's a jungler down. Meteos could knock it out. Someday needs to join the fight. He's basing to set up the TV, but Baron's going to already be gone. It's too late, I think.
Basing 22 minutes in is a home guard impact, or Someday if he's able to get here on the Gnar. Does not look like they will. He back to prep as bot was going down from minions. As I get myself sorted here, Baron going over to Echo Fox, and heck of a play there. Patiently waiting, and all they needed was the jungler.
Yeah, really nice pick, and they're kind of playing around that power spike, right? The two items are completed here for Altec. They know their AD carry was very strong. Cody-san has not completed his IE until just now when he based, so you don't really want to take that fight, even if Someday could TP in. Plus, they're playing around the fact that Someday's Mega Gnar just expired when Hooney TP's in. Knowing that, you know that Someday's not going to be as powerful even if he matches. So just really intelligent timing. Great pick from Echo Fox. It gets them the Baron on 5 members, and we'll see what else they can get from it, because it is going to be the Frozen Mallet coming out from Hooney, and that's full split push, now enabled by a Baron buff.
They want to make plays now. They get the binding they want, but they just set the vision up on the top side. They didn't have it here to work off that binding. 100 Thieves is really trying to put something on their plate that they can work off of. And Echo Fox, one step ahead in that situation. Still good to see from 100 Thieves. Looking for those picks, looking for those hits. Cody-san with that Infinity Edge can definitely make something happen if they hit the right targets. Dragon picked up now 2 over the side of Echo Fox. Can still control quite a bit of the map, and bot wave is pushing in their favor.
And the Hurricane now is going to pay some dividends just as far as even the wave clear, because the Hurricane plus rockets here on the Jinx can push through those Baron minions. It's one of the AD carries that really can still deal with big Baron minion waves pretty effectively. We'll see how well they can keep holding on, because they're not that far behind yet, but it's about minimizing losses from this Baron buff.
And boy, is it hard for this team to clear Baron up minion waves. It means Echo Fox can get right under the turret. Somebody just on the edge. Oh, they got one. It's going to be a second one, though. However, lockdown onto Adrian. And they lose Dardoch. That was a big Baron play on the side of 100 Thieves, if you will. To get that Baron off the members of Echo Fox is huge.
That is so big. I mean, not only do they get the kills, they can be the ones pushing. They may be the ones to equalize some of the gold here. Oh, Phoenix does get found. Nope, the
still asleep.
Not protected. Yeah,
yep.
So there's that interaction we were talking about. Morgana uses the Black Shield after the Drowsy is up, does not block the sleep. We now know that is confirmed, and Huni is pretty far up here. He's looking to escape. We'll see if they can chase him down.
Oh boy.
Meteos does not have ultimate, so I think he's out.
Ryu had a quick back that almost put him and Huni toe-to-toe. But Huni playing pretty smart here. Kind of has a sixth sense of when things are going down around him. He just has enough space around himself to play it safe and get the team to back off. Baron on a few members still. We'll see how Echo Fox spreads himself out to utilize the rest of their time. 40 seconds, so not too much.
Yeah, definitely not a lot of time. I mean, when you lose a fight like that, it burns so much of that Baron buff away. So honestly, just a great job by 100 Thieves, and we are getting closer and closer to that scary stage where Cody-san is becoming a monster. He's on 3 items now, right? He picked up some kills there, and we're gonna watch this once more. As there is that sleepy bubble trouble, and right onto Ryu. Look at the damage coming through. This is what prompts the fight. They do not know that Someday is piling in here from the top side. Lucky for them, if Altec does not flash that, he goes down 2. Someday still, though, catching a couple, and both the kills go to Cody-san plus the red buff. That's exactly what you want. It's why he's on 3 items faster, and when you're in this position as a Jinx on 3 items and no one has armor on the other team, it feels so good because now you can build towards those kind of luxury items like a Bloodthirster that often you don't have the ability to go for because you need a Last Whisper at this point usually, and your damage just becomes so insane. If you can get a rapid fire crit onto someone like Phoenix or Altec, or even Huni, honestly, if it's not Windwalled, that can decide the fight. That can be such a massive portion of their health.
An early spell shield this time. That'll definitely get the effect off of the Drowsy. And nobody goes down on that. Still the pressure, as you said, to come back. If Cody-san can hit the shot, rapid fire cannon. Extra range, a bit of a crit, but that overshield coming in, the hits, and the asleep. Dardoch under the turret, a lot of damage being taken as Aphromoo still goes down to that burn. And now we're gonna have Huni coming in, trying to do the damage. Altec getting the finishing touches on those kills. And that's the fight they wanted before. We were thinking Echo Fox a little too ahead of themselves, diving carelessly. This one they set up.
Yeah, this one they set up well, and it looked like Huni probably zoned Someday off, and Someday now getting caught by the Drowsy.
So many free shots for the whole team just when one person gets Drowsy.
Not getting dove.
That means his death. What a turn in the game. Echo Fox heated up immediately. And now they're going to take down the second tier mid.
Yeah, Huni just comes in on that dive and cleans up Cody-san despite the fact that he had the flash. He could not get away. This is going to be at the very least an inhibitor. Likely they will base after that, but Echo Fox find their opening and crack open the game.
Jax Tristana. Your objectives go bing, bang, boom, and they fall. Phoenix toying with his food at this point as they make their way out. And kind of rinse and repeat on a play they just errored, and they make it work.
Yeah, definitely so. And despite the fact that Phoenix does not have the flashy scoreline, so much credit has to go to him. He is setting up so many of these plays, getting so much of the picks. I mean, he's the one who essentially 100% Aphromoo there. Altec actually died, it looked like, to an explosive shot actually blowing up, and he was too close to that. So they get the initial dive coming out. Somebody was zoned off, and that was a big part of it too. Huni did not let him kind of come through, and now PD, so this is like the triumvirate of 1v1 dueling items. You could not get away because you're slowed. The Blade Rune King active is additional slow to close the actual first gap. He has percentage HP damage, and now you have PD for the crit, but also the damage reduction from the person that you're hitting. So that just makes him so good in the 1v1 against Someday. And Dardoch, not much vision in this jungle. It's a dark and scary place.
That hurts. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 abilities used. No summoners necessary, though. They do get Dardoch down. Now they get to roam around, figure out where they can put some vision.
Pretty big deal, though. He will be dead right as Baron spawns. Will 100 Thieves commit to that? Probably not, but it is an opening that they can consider and look at. At the very least, they're going to have full vision control around that Baron. But thankfully for Echo Fox, they have the minute hip down, which is going to require a response, which is going to put on pressure, and that makes it so much more difficult to actually just go over to that Baron and try to start it up, because then your Nexus turrets can be threatened.
Someday looks committed to where he's going right
They
now.
are gonna start the Baron.
Yeah, Huni is going to stay in this bot lane. He gets 2 turrets to himself if this fight continues. A beautiful Drowsy. Asleep, but Cody's son has the shield for magic damage.
I mean, this is so hard to do for 100 Thieves. They can't start it up because they're getting poked off by this Zoe. Huni's going to be on their inhibitor. They need to decide now, and backing off at this point means they're going to lose the inhibitor turret, and now Echo Fox can start the Baron. I feel like they've really bungled this. Now they're canceling their base. They're trying to turn it around, and essentially this team fight here is going to decide.
Town on that turret.
They need to get the Baron. They need to win a fight here. 100 Thieves has lost the game.
All right, so Someday decides to go back. Not having a terrible game for himself, so he can definitely put up the damage against Huni, make him change his mind at what he wants to do. Red buff will be picked up by Cody's son, gives him a little bit more kite ability to keep himself safe in these fights. Phoenix now can go even more aggressive with this Banshee's Veil on now and really get in the face. That's a Drowsy. Paddle Star coming up. Who's the blocker? Actually goes for Meteors on that one as he throws it out early.
Yeah, didn't have the confidence to R forward to actually go for that kill, because if you get ulted up by Meteos, you may just get burst down and have that turned around on you, so trying to play somewhat conservative, but Phoenix is being so ridiculously annoying with these sleeps that he's landing non-stop on the 100 Thieves members. He is honestly dismantling this team almost single-handedly with his play on the Zoe. No one is being able to take him out. He's not getting kills, but he's chunking them out. He constantly has threat on them. Woo. Now they've lost full Baron vision control. Cody's son's getting sent back to base, and they can just start up the Baron.
Grabbing up Dragon as well. A good damage as Phoenix plays.
There's
the bodyguard here to the Baron pit. Weaver's wall comes in just so they can see what's going on. Nice stop by Adrian there in the shield. No vision to come through as well to see if there were any members that were killable. And Echo Fox off and running again with the Baron.
And Aframu died there as well. In the mix of that, to Phoenix, right? This guy has taken over the game on Zoe. This is the stuff of nightmares. This is why people ban Zoe. It's games like this that you play that you're so ridiculously frustrated of, because you're getting slept from outside of your vision. You're getting one shot from so far away, a screen away it always feels like, and he is showing the power of this champion. We'll see if 100 Thieves can make a stop though. Huni is back to the bottom lane, has the Baron buff enabling him, and they're looking to push on all sides.
And we see quite a bit of what happened last game in terms of vision, but opposite, if you will. We'll talk about that in a second as Huni in a 2v1 situation here. Doesn't seem like he's sweating it all too much. Goes ahead for the last breath ultimate onto Someday, but how many more breaths does he have? Not looking good for his situation. Cannot come up with the final kill. He's not sustaining enough of his HP. But we're looking at this damage that Phoenix provides. The last Zoe we had in a previous game was warded out. Never had a chance to create a bubble from a Fog of War position. Echo Fox is owning that vision, and Phoenix is looking like an all-star because of it.
Yeah, and you're seeing that pay so many dividends. They have such good vision on the top side, and despite the fact that 100 Thieves gets a kill on Huni, they still lost their top lane inhibitor, and that is the biggest deal. And here it is. Look how far away he's able to actually catch these guys from. That paddle star distance, that's a one-shot on Aframu. That's not even a sleep. And he almost killed the AD carry with the same spell.
Tell me again!
And no setup, Riv.
Oh, my word. These are things we happen. Actually, that happened to me in my game the other day, where it was a double kill. They disappeared into the brush and then disappeared.
He was bad, man.
You know, it felt great. It was on my team.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, usually it's on the other team.
Like, well, that's totally balanced. Yeah, that's great. Then as soon as it's on the other team, like, ban this. What are you doing?
Bring it in again. Elder Drake on the horizon with 1:30 on this Baron buff that Echo Fox is working with. Looks like they'll even give Phoenix a little bit of help here. Why not? Everybody to the bot side. The map is basically objective free, except for those inhibitors. Ooh, 100 Thieves. Gonna rout Echo Fox here.
I mean, they need to do something, right? You need to be willing to make a winning play. You can't just sit back, because you will get bled out of this game by split push eventually. Huni's on an IE now. That means he has 100% crit plus the dueling items. And we'll see if they can pull the trigger here. They're looking. Oh!
He just jumped right into
from
behind. Hooney's going to be right onto the back line. That's a black shield onto Cody Sun. Gets himself some distance. Meteos very low as you see the damage going over to Adrian. Possible resets. Hooney in, out, looking for a possible entrance onto Ryu here as they look to focus him. Ryu only takes about 3 shots. Altec finishes it. And now they're on to Meteos. A quick lockdown. Keeps Altec out of the fight, but the Paddle Star still coming in. And getting the behind, a Someday takes him down 9-6, 34 minutes in, and it looks like Echo Fox is headed for those Nexus turrets.
Yeah, they're going to get the triple inhib. They're trying to close in here. Jinx can still wave clear this. That is definitely the power of this champion, but can they stay alive against 4 members here from Echo Fox, closing in with the Baron buff?
The crowd's behind and the fans are ready for these Nexus turrets to fall.
Balls up.
It looks like they put those touches on 1 turret, 2 turret. The Nexus in their eyes, and so are Afro-Moo and Cody's Son. The kills are on the fountain, but that just means the kills are in reach. And the Nexus goes down as Echo Fox moves to 8-1.
What a difference between the 2 Zoe games. When you look at last game, when you look at this game, how effective Phoenix was just ridiculous. It's a masterclass on not only how to play Zoe on an individual level, but how to control and exploit vision to set up pick champions. That was a team effort that enabled Phoenix's success, right? And it was honestly incredible seeing how well they played around the top side of 100 Thieves jungle. 100 Thieves could just not really get a foothold. They could not get the vision back. They could never push them out of that side of the map, and that makes it so hard to contest Baron, so hard to really set up a win condition.
And cut him out of this. Echo Fox drafting such a strong team. Rick Fox, he's always pumped up. He's feeling great. Seeing him around quite a bit more here, supporting the team, and they have been ecstatic to have him around as well. The camaraderie that he brings to the team is just exuded through these players and their happiness. You see what they can do throughout these games. Champion select was their strength this time as well. Getting Dardoch something strong, getting Phoenix something strong, still letting Hooney do what he does, and I feel like that's when Hooney is at his best, right?
Yeah.
Because he feels empowered to play those champions, and then he can still do well on those, so the team wants him to do it more.
I completely agree, and when Hooney can be effective on these picks that no one else is playing, that gives you even more threat in pick and ban. That can put an extra dimension on there and make Echo Fox that much more scary.
Well, we'll see what they can do as they move on very strong this season. To get their thoughts on how Fox picked up that win, let's send it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. An 8-1 first round robin for Echo Fox here. That's an incredible scoreline that they'll be very happy with. Let's take a look at how they crafted that 8th win of the split. Taking a look at Champ Select, it's important to note 100 Thieves elected to be on the red side.
I kind of hate what happened as a result. So you are thinking, as we were saying top of the day, we want to see more out of Someday, put some more resources into them. Hey, they take red side, maybe they'll try and give counterpick, kind of like what Team Liquid did with Impact. They don't do that. They give away Zoe, which Phoenix has won on before, and though it hasn't always looked perfect, he at least can land a lot of sleeps and make your life difficult. So they give that up. Then they take the Gnar blind early, spend 2 bans in the second phase trying to protect that pick, and you're playing against Hooney, who clearly still has counterpick. The fact that they didn't go and reach for Camille earlier on in the first draft phase shows that they are clearly prepared for the double ban to come in later. And surprise, surprise, he takes, you know, Yasuo.
Which he had done in the World Finals in Game 2. It's a pick that Hooney has definitely showed he can play before. So a lot of times, we're very critical of this 100 Thieves draft.
Yeah.
And I think it was a bad draft. It can be the players or the coach's fault. Right? This is not necessarily a Prawley thing, but it does mean that Echo Fox had a huge advantage after this draft in thanks to the players and the coach. Not only do they have the player with the flexibility to have multiple counter picks into Gnar and be comfortable, but they also have the coach who's willing to play that advantage.
Right, absolutely. And so for the same time as 100 Thieves, like, okay, you took Talia, Azir is up. What is the strongest team fighting meta pick in the game? They don't even get punished by taking the Zoe early and have a worse team fight phase. They play against Talia, which, you know, Zoe generally does fine against.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here, toss it down to the stage for an interview, and then we'll be back to talk a bit more about this matchup.
Thanks, guys. I am here with Hooney, who seems to be the only man who is brave enough to choose these crazy counter picks like Yasuo. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I even did that on the Worst Final, which is like biggest on stage, you know? So why not on any LCS too?
So was Yasuo just a spur of the moment pick, or did you come in knowing that you were going to play it?
Actually, we practiced a lot for Yasuo, and then right now it's like the meta shift a lot. But I thought that it actually could be bad because there's no attack speed, the runes anymore, but still, like, they actually put wall for Yasuo setup, like overhill. They changed a lot, so I feel that it's really good for like this meta. Also, it counter a lot of jungler and AD carry old mid because like wind wall is like one of most OP skills in League of Legends history. That's what I felt. That's why I picked up.
Well, you play against Cloud9 tomorrow, and depending on the results of their match today, you guys could have another battle for first place. What do you think about going into that match?
I'm really exciting against C9 because obviously it's gonna be for first places, and we won. Even though we won the last game, the last game of the C9, still I really just want to make sure that we're just better than C9.
And they're getting set up behind you, but Cloud9 TSM game, who do you think's going to take it?
Yeah, C9 is definitely their like strongest team in the LCS right now. Obviously next to us, but they're gonna be really, really well, and TSM is doing really well recently, but it's gonna be hard to predict. But I hope C9 lose because they're higher to score.
Huni, I will protect you from Cloud9. Thank you so much for your time, and back to the guys at the desk.
That was incredible. I loved every moment of that. It is a huge matchup tomorrow between those two squads. Of course, Cloud9 up on stage next. They still have a game to play before they can focus in on Echo Fox. But again, I think we need to return to this idea that Echo Fox is 8-1.
Yeah.
An 8-1 that nobody necessarily expected. And now I want to start getting into why it is that they're there. What makes them so successful as a team? And we did see some evidence of that in this game. So we're going to start rolling through some clips. We're going to work through what it is that makes Echo Fox quintessentially them.
Their play around Baron is the most decisive and most aggressive of any team. This is only 22 minutes into the game, and they catch Meteoson and invade, immediately blow the TP from the Yasuo, and they just completely sell out to get that kill onto him. And a lot of teams will say, great, reset the waves, maybe go take that outer mid turret that's still available. No, they go immediately for Baron because they know it's without a smite, and 100 Thieves is never able to get in position to contest.
It's just, like Jao was saying, so decisive. They know the enemy jungler is overextended in the top lane. That means if you kill him there, no smite, and you're right next to Baron, so you have a faster setup time to get there. It feels like they're aware of all these situations around Baron. Sometimes they get a little too aggressive, but they do have this play style where they will go for any Baron they think they have the high chance of getting.
Right, doesn't stop them from sometimes throwing away their advantages. We'll see picks get made or so after the Baron's picked up. But I want to roll forward to 27 minutes. This fight in the mid lane, around the mid lane turret.
And this feels like one of the Huni specials. Like whenever he's on a team, they just have this propensity to find random fights that work out super well for the team. This is after they kind of threw their Baron advantage a little bit. They died in the mid lane. They returned to mid lane right away and just pick another fight right away. Yeah,
it was a Baronless 5v5 mid lane siege where they just dive through two turrets. That doesn't happen in pro play, but it happens all the time in Echo Fox games, which is another defining feature of them just going for plays that a lot of teams wouldn't expect, because a lot of times they're not logically smart plays, but they commit so well and they play so well in those moments that they get victory.
And a lot of that goes to Phoenix there. You just saw like constantly chunking people out, blowing up Afro at the start of that fight, which enables the entire team. Later, after they start grabbing inhibitors, some more pickoffs around Baron. You see it showing up in the damage graph there. Just was making 100 Thieves' lives hell the entire game.
Right, lots of poke damage coming through from that Zoe. So again, 8-1 at the end of the first round robin. They start their second round robin with the toughest matchup, arguably, for them. That's against Cloud9. They did win it last time around, but I want to get you guys' preliminary thoughts on the rematch between Echo Fox and Cloud9.
I think the way a lot of people have been talking about Echo Fox recently is they're really, really good, but they do have these slightly over-aggressive plays, and no one has punished them for it yet. I think a lot of people are looking at C9 as the team that can punish it, and if they can't, then who is stopping Echo Fox from running away with this entire season?
Yeah, I'm actually excited for not only the game tomorrow, but the games in Week 6. They play Cloud9, TSM, and Liquid in their next three. So, like, if they win those games, then I would agree.
Then it's smooth sailing until the end of the...
Then it feels like they would be the #1 team, but... the exact type of aggressive plays we saw in this game don't work when you were matched up skill for skill with your opponent. So I really want to see how that plays out in the next 3 games.
I mean, it's worth pointing out that they almost are undefeated. Their one loss was to CLG off what a lot of people would say was their own mistakes. And so it isn't really the case where people are doing a good job of punishing them yet. It hasn't happened, but I mean, it doesn't feel like it's going to happen anytime soon unless it's C9 tomorrow.
The only other thing to consider here is that for 100 Thieves, that's 4 losses in a row now. So we're going to look for them to recover tomorrow up against CLG. We're stepping away. When we return, it's Cloud9 versus TSM. Meet us here after the break.
We have 2 walls, bro. How can we lose? Rom E plus Yasuo W. How can they deal damage?